Hello there, traders. Hello there. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Paul's Monday Market Update, number 224 for the Monday, the 11th of May, 2026. I hope you're all well. Hope you've had a good weekend. Hope you are ready for another interesting and eventful week in markets. As always, that has been the story of 2026. Just a quick bit of housekeeping. This will be the last one for a couple of weeks. Okay, we'll be taking a 2-week break. I'm away and traveling, and we'll be back on Monday, 1st of June. For those of you joining us for the first time, the Monday market update is just that. It is me flying through as much as I can share with you in the next 30 odd minutes as we take a look at strength and weakness within the FX and indices and commodities markets, look at a few charts of interest, and then take a look at the live markets. It is not a signal service. It is not trade recommendations. It is just me sharing what I'm looking at, which may be of interest to you, and you might want to add it to your own watch list. As always, you are always very welcome here, but just remember that you are always responsible for your own trading decisions. And for those of you who need a little bit more discipline, accountability, and consistency and structure in your trading, you can join the VTP Trader Accountability Group. The tag is all about helping you build that discipline, accountability, and consistency. You can ping me on my mail, or you can use that QR code, or use the Bitly code if you want a few more details. Okay, I appreciate that I'm running over a little bit, but there is so much going on. Okay, just want to share with you. What we'll do is we'll take a look at US dollar, Kiwi dollar, sterling, okay, and draw it to a close there. So this is dollar page, Aussie dollar, Euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss on the daily, Kiwi dollar on the daily, dollar CAD, dollar yen, dollar index. Okay, as always. Right, I want to see what's going on here. Let's start with, as always, dollar index weekly chart. Anyone excited by that? Anyone sort of, yeah, probably no is the word. All right. So, we did close lower. All right. We did close lower, but, you can see this week, look at that indecision. Now, listen, we're a few hours into the week. All right. But what it's telling me is that, everybody, even on the daily, everybody's like, well, what's going on? What are we going to do here? Nobody's really sort of full of any kind of excitement or vigor. 4-hour chart, okay, 4-hour chart, we bounced there beautifully off that 200 period moving average, worked our way down. The 50 here acted once again as kind of dynamic resistance, and just look at us here. Yep, we gapped up, dollar gapped up because of the rejection of the Iranian deal, but it didn't flow any higher. Didn't push any higher, has it? It's not really kind of driven its way any higher. And if I look on the intraday basis, we gapped up, we pushed up to the 200 as we came into the London session, and yeah, we drifted off. And if you look at that, the last couple of hours, last 3-4 hours, not doing much. I think it's waiting to see what the Americans are going to do, waiting to see what Trump will have to say, because I'm sure there will be some sort of commentary later on today as the markets open. We've come to learn, come to expect that. That's the way it plays. But when I look at this, daily chart, Aussie strength, dollar weakness. Kiwi dollar, Kiwi strength, dollar weakness. Okay, that's a bit of a no surprise there. Dollar strength, Canadian weakness. Okay, that's curious to me. Okay, what we see is dollar weakness, Swiss franc strength. Cable, well, it's just coiling. All right, even euro, it's sat on that 200 period moving average, but I wouldn't exactly get excited about it. Yen, okay, intervention, but it hasn't been able to break that daily 200 there. Okay, that's not showing any interest. Let's have a quick then we'll look at sterling. So Kiwi dollar, Euro Kiwi, pound Kiwi, dollar Kiwi Swiss franc, sorry, Kiwi yen, Aussie Kiwi, Kiwi CAD, all right, and then gold. As we said, Kiwi is strengthened against the US dollar there, okay? We can see that. Kiwi, that has been euro weakness, Kiwi strength, okay? That has been sterling weakness, Kiwi strength, although it's changing a little bit today. Kiwi Swiss franc has been, I would look at that as being kind of in a range. Kiwi has strengthened against Canadian dollar. Against Aussie, well, I'd probably be just saying that, it's in a range, but that's what happens when you get 1v2. I don't really trade 1v2, right, in terms of the stamp. And in terms of Kiwi yen, Well, that's a little bit, we had seen that kind of Kiwi weakness, but then we pushed our way up there, right? So, we can see that there is Kiwi strength there coming in, okay? There is there, it's not across everything, but it's across enough for it to, A, to make it count, and B, for us to be able to sort of see, why Kiwi dollar has pushed its way up to second place on the stamp. Right, let's finish with sterling. All right, as I said, I'm pretty sure I ran a little bit, but I'm just trying to make up as much as I can during these weird and wonderful times. Okay, so here we go. Cable. All right, there we go. That is just coiling up there. That's the way I look at that in terms of the price action there, what's going on. In terms of pound against yen, I see us just sat there on the 50 period moving average. All right, sat on the 50 period moving average. Are we going to get some sterling movement? Are we going to get more Japanese yen intervention? Your guess is as good as mine. Against Aussie, sterling, okay, is weakening against the Aussie. Okay, no surprise there. Against Kiwi dollar, it is weakening there. Okay, that's sterling weakness, Kiwi strength. Sterling has strengthened against Canadian dollar, but everybody has. What we've also seen is sterling has weakened a little bit against the euro, but today might give us an interesting view on that. And pound against Swiss franc has been quite a few swings there. Okay, we've had sterling strength, we've had sterling weakness. Bit of an interesting day today. I think there's some things afoot there, but what we're seeing is that it's a very mixed picture on sterling there. Okay, there is no particularly clear trend, and as we looked at the sort of gilt 10-year yields there, this kind of political instability and the overall geopolitical instability, is not exactly filling sterling traders with a lot of joy and happiness. So tread carefully in sterling if you're going to try and swing trade it this week. Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's draw it to a close there. As I said, I appreciate we were overran a little bit, but there's just so much for me to share with you these days. Okay, there's so much going on. But anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a little bit of help and a little bit of insight into what's going on. As I said, we're going to be away for 2 weeks now. Okay, we'll be back on Monday, 1st of June. I hope you have a couple of great weeks of trading. As I say, make sure you're managing risk. Make sure you're on top of the news flow and on top of the order flow. Trade well, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.